All right, Ryan and I are here right now. We're about to do some of the throwing. What do you guys say about these sharp, pointy throwing weapons here?
Well, just these ought to be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
they hit with a lot more force than any other, well, most other types of throwing weapons, you know, compared to like throwing knives or stars. These things will really sink in with a nice impact, which you don't get out of knives.
Right. Yeah, because they've got so much more of a punch to them here. We got Bob set up right here. He's been through some stuff over here. What were you testing on here? Some of the new maces we got going on for Devil's Edge?
Last thing we did with him is we tested a new Gothic mace that's going to be coming out. It's actually from Lord of Battles, 14 gauge too. So
that's 14 gauge.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that mace coming in. It's going to be really cool.
Awesome, awesome. All right, we're gonna get going and start testing these out. All right, so Ryan told me not to hit the bottom of it, and now it's leaking. But that's kind of the nature of these kind of weapons. They're heavy, and they've got a lot of points, a lot of opportunities for you to hit your opponent.
Yeah.
So
it would have went through his foot at least.
Yeah, it would have stuck into your foot. Yeah. Nice. That was the tip on that. You'll see.
How far back did it go? We can see from the back.
That went in pretty far, man.
Like 2 inches in or something.
You'll see the other damage on the inside of the pallet there from all the force. Be careful when you're pulling these out, because you're going to see that Ryan's not facing it toward him.
Yeah.
There's so many points on it.
Everywhere.
That you can, yeah, make sure you direct it away from you when you pull it out of there. You can see the damage. Alright, so you can see when I'm taking this out, I've got my foot down, and I'm just kind of prying it. I'm going away from me, and don't do this. Keep it away from you as you yank it out, because you don't want any of the tips. You don't want any of the tips to be coming back and being a liability for you. Alright, next test that Ryan and I are doing with the Hurlbats is going to be on this plate armor right here. So what can you tell me about this one?
Well, I think this is 16 gauge we're looking at.
Okay.
And we're just going to see if there's any chance that we can penetrate it with these Hurlbats. I think most of them are going to deflect, but if we happen to get a dead shot, we might be able to do it. I don't know. I'm expecting a lot of bounces because he's got a lot of flexibility, and he's losing water since we put a hole in the bottom. So we'll kind of have to do it quick before he gets too light and he just falls over.
So even with like a pretty decent amount of force, we're still able to puncture through the armor right now. It's just
I got blood all over mine.
Welcome.
Yeah, not bad.
This one, the chest plate, we can really get in here. You can even see behind it. So when we were throwing these, what did you experience on this one?
Well, it did pretty much what I'd expect it to do. We got a lot of glancing blows, but we actually got a little bit more penetration into the 16 gauge steel than I was expecting. Actually, I thought it was pretty impressive. I mean, for a short range, medium range throwing weapon against plate steel, I thought it had a lot of impact. It did a good job. I think the only thing that really saved Bob here is the fact that he's wearing both the gambeson and riveted chainmail below this plate armor. Where if we would have done one of those fake armor tests where you just pin this thing up onto a chunk of wood, we probably would have been able to go right through and stick it really good. But because Bob's got that flex and that bounce, we were getting a lot of things bouncing back, which is a lot more realistic, which is kind of the reason we do it this way.
Right, yeah, that way you can actually get the vibration of it.
Yeah, exactly.
And you'll see on the tip right here, like we're getting most of them, we're landing like here, and then actually the butt end too, which isn't sharp, right?
Right, the butt end, it's pointed, but this is the only part that doesn't have an edge on it. Everything else is edged. But this part will stick just as well in most cases if you happen to get a back strike instead.
So it's 4 times better than a throwing knife.
Yeah, exactly. Like we like to say, if it hits, it sticks.
Yeah, that's
right?
awesome. Awesome. Let's do a close-up of the armor, and then we're going to close this out.